Look down at your kitchen sink right now. Go on, take a proper look at the drain. That ring of yellow-brown crust circling the plug hole. The dark staining creeping down into the pipe. The chalky film that has somehow turned what used to be a gleaming white basin into something you would rather your mother-in-law never saw. You have probably scrubbed it. You have probably poured bleach down there until the smell made your eyes water. You have probably stood at the sink with a toothbrush in your hand, attacking that yellow ring like it personally insulted you. And every single time, within a week, maybe two, it crawled back. The same yellow stain, the same dull film, the same sinking feeling that your sink is just old now and there is nothing you can do about it. But here is something that might genuinely surprise you. Walk into a kitchen in Osaka, in Kyoto, in a tiny flat in Tokyo where the sink has been in place for 15, 20, even 30 years. And you will see something that does not compute. The drain is white, not off-white. Not a sort of cream color that the homeowner is trying to convince themselves is acceptable. Properly white. Bright. The kind of white that catches the morning light through the kitchen window and makes the whole basin look brand new. And the woman who lives there will tell you, without thinking twice about it, that she has not bought a single bottle of commercial drain cleaner in years. Not one. The whole job, the one that has been defeating you for months, takes her about 10 minutes. And the ingredients sit in the cupboard above her cooker for less than the price of a takeaway coffee. So what on earth is going on? Why does the rest of the world keep losing this fight while Japan quietly wins it every single day? The answer is not a better product. It is not a stronger chemical. It is not even harder work. It is a completely different understanding of what that yellow stain actually is. And once you grasp it, you will never look at your sink the same way again. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through exactly what is happening at a chemical level inside your drain, why every product you have tried was fighting the wrong battle, and the precise 10-minute Japanese method that dissolves the problem at its source, not masks it, not bleaches it temporarily, dissolves it. Let us start with the truth nobody seems willing to say out loud. That yellow ring around your drain is not dirt. It is not soap residue. It is not even really food. What you are looking at is a complex deposit made of 3 different things layered on top of each other in a way that makes them almost impossible to remove with conventional cleaning. The first layer, the one that gets there first, is mineral scale. Every single time water flows down your drain, your tap water carries dissolved minerals with it, mostly calcium and magnesium. As the water sits, evaporates, and dries against the porcelain or stainless steel of your sink, those minerals are left behind. A single wash leaves a layer so thin you could not see it with a microscope. But you are running water through that sink dozens of times a day, hundreds of times a week, thousands of times a month. Layer stacks on layer, and within months you have a thin, hard mineral crust bonded directly to the surface of your drain. The second layer, the one that gives the stain its color, is organic. Every time you rinse a plate, tiny particles of fat, oil, protein, and starch flow over that mineral crust. The crust is slightly rough at a microscopic level, which means those food particles do not just slide away. They get caught, they cling, and then your hot water sweeps over them and partly cooks them onto the surface. Fats oxidize in contact with air. Proteins denature and turn yellow. Starches break down and form a sticky residue. All of that bonds to the mineral layer underneath, and now you have a composite stain that is half rock, half cooked on grease. The third layer is biological. In a warm, wet, food-rich environment like your drain, bacteria and microscopic biofilms move in within days. They form a slimy protective coating over the whole mess that traps moisture, traps color, and shields the stain underneath from anything you spray on top of it. This is why your bleach has not been working. Bleach is fantastic at killing bacteria on a flat surface. It is hopeless against a 3-layer composite stain bonded to porcelain. The chlorine attacks the top biological layer, which is why the stain looks lighter for a day or two. But it cannot dissolve calcium carbonate. It cannot break the bond between cooked grease and mineral scale. And the moment that thin top layer regrows, which it does within 48 hours, your yellow stain looks exactly the way it did before you started. You have not been failing. You have been using an oxidizer when you needed an acid. You have been bleaching a problem that needed dissolving. That is not your fault. The cleaning aisle at your local supermarket is not arranged to help you understand chemistry. It is arranged to sell you another bottle next month. Now, this is where the Japanese approach becomes properly fascinating. In Japanese cleaning culture, there is a word, suji, that does not really translate cleanly into English. It does not just mean cleaning. It means a kind of ongoing, mindful care of the spaces you live in. Suji is taught to children from the moment they enter primary school. In Japanese schools, there are no caretakers. The pupils themselves clean their classrooms, their corridors, and yes, the toilets, every single day. By the time a Japanese person is an adult, the idea of a deep clean once a quarter feels strange to them. They do not let things get to the point where a deep clean is needed. They handle small messes the moment they appear, and they understand the chemistry of what they are actually cleaning. This is the cultural foundation. Now let us talk about the ingredients. In nearly every Japanese kitchen cupboard, you will find 2 white powders sitting next to each other. One is sodium bicarbonate, which we call baking soda or bicarbonate of soda. The other is citric acid, called kwensan in Japanese. You can buy a big bag of food-grade citric acid at any Japanese 100-yen shop, at any pharmacy, at any supermarket, for about £1. In the UK, you can find it in the home baking aisle, in the cleaning aisle, online for next to nothing. It is the same acid found naturally in lemons, oranges, and limes, just concentrated into a pure white powder. And when those 2 ingredients meet a 3-layer drain stain, something remarkable happens. Citric acid is a chelating agent. That is a fancy chemistry word that means its molecules have these tiny claw-like structures that physically grab onto calcium and magnesium ions and pull them out of mineral deposits. It does not just dissolve the surface. It reaches into the crystal structure of the lime scale, latches onto each calcium atom, and lifts it away. The mineral layer, the foundation that holds the whole yellow stain in place, simply falls apart. Once that foundation goes, the grease layer and the biological layer have nothing to cling to. They lift off in one piece. The whole composite stain breaks down from underneath. And the baking soda is there to do 2 things. First, it provides a gentle abrasive action without scratching the porcelain. Second, and this is the bit that feels almost like magic, when the baking soda meets the citric acid in water, it produces a furious fizzing reaction. Carbon dioxide bubbles erupt across the entire surface of the drain. Those bubbles physically lift, loosen debris out of every crack, every pore, every place a toothbrush could never reach. The chemistry does the work. You barely have to. Right, let us walk through the method properly. Step by step. Do not skip any of these because the order matters more than you might think. You're going to need about a tablespoon of citric acid powder, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, a kettle of just boiled water, an old soft toothbrush, and a clean cloth. That is it. No gloves, no mask, no opening of windows. Everything we are about to use is food grade. Start by giving the sink a quick rinse with hot tap water. You are just removing any loose crumbs or surface debris so the active ingredients can get straight to work. Now sprinkle 1 full tablespoon of citric acid powder directly around the yellow ring of the drain. Get it onto the staining itself. Get it into the grooves around the plug hole. Get it down inside the visible part of the drain pipe. The powder will start to look slightly wet as it draws moisture from the residue. That is good. That is the acid making contact. Walk away for 5 minutes. This is the bit where most people get impatient and start scrubbing too early. Do not. The citric acid needs time to penetrate the mineral layer and start pulling it apart. Set a timer if you have to. After those 5 minutes, sprinkle 2 tablespoons of baking soda directly on top of the citric acid. The moment the 2 powders touch the residual moisture, the whole drain will erupt into a foaming, fizzing white mass. You will hear it. A faint crackling, like a glass of fizzy water but louder. Those bubbles are carbon dioxide gas being released, and every single one of them is physically lifting loosened mineral and grease deposits off the porcelain. Let it fizz for 2 full minutes. Watch it work. There is something genuinely satisfying about seeing the chemistry happen in front of you, instead of just trusting that a sprayed-on liquid is doing something invisible. Now, slowly pour just boiled water from your kettle directly over the foaming mixture. Pour it in a steady stream around the entire drain ring. The hot water does 3 things at once. It accelerates the acid reaction, it melts any remaining grease deposits, and it flushes the loosened debris down the pipe. You will see the water running off the porcelain a slightly brownish yellow color. That is months, possibly years, of buildup leaving your sink. Take your old toothbrush and very gently work it around the drain ring in small circular motions. You are not scrubbing. You are not pressing hard. You are just guiding the already loosened residue away from the surface. It should come off with almost no resistance. If you find a stubborn patch, sprinkle a tiny bit more citric acid directly on it. Wait 30 seconds and try again. Finally, give the entire sink a final rinse with hot water and wipe it dry with a clean cloth. And here is the part that genuinely catches people off guard. Look down. Look at what is now in front of you. The drain that has been yellow for as long as you can remember is white. Properly white. The same white as the day the sink was installed. The yellow was never permanent. It was never a sign that your sink had aged. It was a chemical deposit, and you have just dissolved it at its molecular foundation. Total time, start to finish, around 10 minutes. Total cost, well under £1. Now this is the bit that separates someone who gets a clean sink once from someone whose sink stays white permanently. The Japanese approach does not stop here. The deep clean you just did is not really the routine. It is the reset. The actual genius of the system is what you do every day afterwards, and it takes about 30 seconds. Keep a small spray bottle next to your sink. Mix 1 teaspoon of citric acid powder into about 200 milliliters of warm water. Shake it until the powder dissolves. After your last wash-up of the day, when the sink is empty, give the drain a quick spritz. Just 2 or 3 pumps. Do not even rinse it off. The mild acidic film stays on the porcelain overnight and prevents any new mineral deposits from bonding to the surface. The yellow stain does not just leave. It cannot come back. You have changed the chemistry of the environment itself. The drain is no longer a place where limescale can settle. It is a hostile surface. Spores, bacteria, minerals, they all land and slide away. There is one more layer to this, and it is the bit that has nothing to do with chemistry and everything to do with the way Japanese households think about their kitchens. After every wash-up, while the sink is still warm and damp, take a quick 30 seconds to wipe down the basin with a dry cloth. That is it. You are not scrubbing. You are not using any product. You are just removing the standing water that would otherwise sit there and evaporate, leaving its minerals behind. This single habit, this one tiny 30-second action repeated daily, is the reason a Japanese sink that is 20 years old can look cleaner than a British sink that was fitted last summer. Not because the porcelain is better, because the maintenance philosophy is fundamentally different. The West reacts to problems once they are visible. Japan prevents them from ever becoming visible in the first place. Let me address a few questions I know are coming. Can you use this on stainless steel sinks? Yes, absolutely. Citric acid is completely safe on stainless steel. In fact, it actively brightens it. Just do not leave it sitting on stainless for more than 15 minutes at a time, because prolonged contact can dull the polished finish. Can you use this on composite or quartz sinks? Yes, but check the manufacturer's guidance first. Most composites tolerate citric acid beautifully, but a small minority of older granite effect materials can react. Do a small patch test in a corner before doing the whole thing. What if your yellow stain is years old and the first treatment does not fully remove it? Just repeat the process. Each round dissolves another layer. Stubborn historic stains might need 2 or 3 sessions, but the chemistry is doing real work each time. And what about commercial drain unblockers? Do not mix them with citric acid. Never mix this method with any chlorine-based product. The reaction is unpleasant and potentially dangerous. The whole point of this approach is that it does not need that level of chemistry. One last thing worth saying before we wrap up. The reason you have spent years losing this battle is not because you are not trying hard enough. It is because the entire cleaning industry has a financial incentive to sell you products that work just well enough to make you think they did something, but not well enough to actually solve the problem permanently. A product that genuinely fixes your drain forever is a product you only buy once. A product that masks the symptom for 2 weeks is a product you buy every fortnight for the rest of your life. The Japanese method costs about £1, takes 10 minutes, and works at the chemical foundation of the problem. It is not flashy. It is not sold by a celebrity. There is no marketing budget behind it. It just works, and it has been quietly working in Japanese kitchens for generations. Your sink deserves to look the way it did the day it was fitted. Your kitchen deserves to feel properly clean, not just cleanish. And now you know exactly how to make that happen, tonight, with 2 ingredients you can probably get for less than the price of a coffee. If this changed the way you think about cleaning, hit subscribe. Every week on this channel we break down another Japanese household method that solves a problem the rest of the world has just accepted as permanent. And if you know someone who has been quietly losing the fight with their kitchen sink, share this video with them. It might be the most useful 10 minutes they spend this month. The next video, on screen now, takes this same Japanese chemistry approach into the bathroom. And what it does to limescale around taps is honestly shocking. Click it.